From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. I'm Nick Beres. Have you forgotten me? It's been a couple of weeks. We've run a bunch of evergreens. I was on vacation. This is live, okay? This is live television. There's no prompter. I'm working without a net, as I usually do. And I'm back from vacation. It's good to be back. And when I come back, I like to hit the ground running. It's been a couple weeks. Whew. I figure, okay, what kind of guest is going to keep me on my toes and just, let's get the show off with a bang right off the bat. And who else but Davidson County Sheriff Daron Hall? It's just good to have him here because he's my friend. He was hoping I was still on vacation and maybe Carrie Sharp would host with him or something like that. Sorry, I'm back. And they were saying it was very quiet in the newsroom while I was gone.
I bet.
It was just quiet and more serene, and now I'm back and it's going to get noisy.
I bet.
It's all right. I think a noisy newsroom's a good newsroom, don't you? Like, at the jail, is it good if it's busy and bustling and noisy?
I thought it was nice while you were gone. Most people, I mean, that's what everyone said.
I think so. It's just
can't you take the month-long vacations? And
they don't realize how quiet things can get when I'm not here. So but I'm back.
You were in Italy, right?
Yeah, I was in Italy, yes. And I was telling you I spent one in a hotel of ours. It was right across the street from the main prison in Milan.
Wow.
And I was checking it out. I was wondering, I don't know if what they have in Italy, would that be a sheriff? Or what, who would it be over the jail and prison system there? I looked at it, like the Davidson County jail. I thought to myself, yeah, that jail couldn't hold me either.
We're building one just for you across the street. We can handle you.
Just in the 2 weeks I've been gone, I look over there and they continue to make progress. The sheriff, of course, will open up the phone line 737-7587, but wanted to ask you about the jail, and I'm sure maybe we'll hear from Joe as the phone lines are open. I also wanted to ask you this. Today, as a matter of fact, is the beginning of yet another Vanderbilt rape trial. Right. As you know, Brandon Banks now, who's been free on bond all this time, is going to trial. Just from your perspective, had he ever been held? I guess initially, was he ever in your jail like Vandenberg and Beatty were? No. No,
he probably when they were, and this has been years ago now, but probably when they were first indicted and that came down, he would have been booked and released probably that same day, if I remember correctly. But no, he was never, as you remember the trial, he was never convicted.
That's right.
But he probably spent, my guess is a handful of hours way back on that original arrest date.
Right. Okay. I think that's it. And obviously, you've had Vandenberg and Corey Beatty go through your system, and now they're in the state system. But in this case, though, of course, this trial they think might take a week. It starts today. Chris Conte will be in the courtroom for opening statements today. We're not doing it gavel to gavel, however. Right. But if he were to be convicted, he would initially maybe be taken into custody by...
Probably stay here, and sometimes that's weeks or months depending on sentencing. But if you remember last time, that was such a mess the way that worked. And then, but yeah, I would suspect if and upon conviction, he'd spend some time with us before we would send him out to the prison. Sometimes we arrange that, kind of once the courts have decided to do it right away overnight. Right. A lot of times the families, visitation, things like that are easier to accomplish out there. And but we I anticipate, maybe over the weekend, if it were to be, if the jury comes back. I mean, there's so many. As I saw the Cosby jury and just how all that took place, and so you just never know how long it's going to take and what the outcome's going to be. So
that's a great point with the Cosby. The difference here is, and I'm just kind of talking because I know you're engaged with this just because you've handled some of these prior cases, but. Look, the evidence is the same. Right. And from what I've learned through my sources, there were some talks. I'm very surprised that there's another trial. And then there's another one, Tip McKenzie, who is another defendant that I think, may work out a deal for him because he has testified on behalf of the prosecution in prior cases. But in this one, I still never thought there would be another trial.
Me neither.
And I understood that there were some plea talks and that there was an offer along the lines, and prosecution won't confirm any of this for me, but through some of the sources I've talked to, of about 10 years. Right. And yeah, that if you're Brandon Banks, like 10 years, oh gosh, I don't want to do it. You're going to take your chance at trial. Well, we already saw not one, not two, but 3 trials with the same evidence that's going to be used against him. And in each case, these guys were convicted. And they're doing 17 and 15 years. He's taking an awful shot here. I mean, to me, 10 years is a long time. But I'll take 10 years over 15 years any day. And if he had a chance to take that, and he's rolling the dice with this jury for a different result, I'm telling you right now, he's going to be convicted. I mean, it's just going to happen as long as that evidence is the same, and I believe it is.
Well, and you said it too. I mean, a lot of it is timing, and I mean that as in timing of, look, we have a totally new DA, a totally new, from when the case was first brought to, to trial.
Tom Thurman's not going to be there this time.
And so it doesn't mean good or bad, but it changes the dynamics. I don't think you change the evidence. It's very rare that you have the video and the photo evidence that you have in this case in a rape-related trial, and I just don't. Personally, I don't see any difference in the outcome. It just depends on what does the judge in the end, come up with from a sentencing perspective.
From sentencing, right?
It's going to be interesting. And like I said, how many years ago? What was the year of the event?
2013.
13. Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
2013, and we're still doing. And on top of everything else, just so you know, folks, and this is not a show on that trial. In fact, we will be doing one later this week with Nick Leonardo. But the victim.
Right.
She's going to have to be here again. And as far as I know, talking to, she's represented by Ed Yarborough, just someone who can help with the affairs. Not that she needs a lawyer now, but I mean, he has said that, and this is an amazingly strong woman who's willing to come back and testify yet again for what will be her 4th trial.
Wow.
And so she'll be here for that, and if there's another one beyond it. So anyway, we'll follow that, and we'll have more of that coming up later. Let me ask you real quick, anything new along the status of the jail? Just where are we standing on that?
There's not a whole lot of news. As you said, just drive down here if you get a chance. It's an amazing piece of property now, the way that they're doing the work. But it's on its way up. They're built. I guess they call it the footers, and the foundation stuff is being laid down.
Everything's been torn down. That's all clear. So now it's the
on
steps
its way
building
up.
up.
And there's a very deep area where the parking garage end of the building will be. But somewhere in the 24 months time frame is what they're telling us to come out of the ground. And so you do the math. We're talking summer of 19 if everything stays together. And so there's work being done on that, and the kind of the other complicated part of this that people forgot was that when we were all going to go to Harding, which was the original plan, the price tag then included moving, our jail facilities out there to join the rest of our operation, and it would allow us to build what we called our headquarters, or a building that was administrative, really training and administrative building. But when you came downtown, that money wouldn't do that. It wouldn't get close to doing just the jail, as a matter of fact. So we went back to the city council, the mayor, 2 years ago now, and said, look, we have other properties that we're sitting on all over Nashville, several spots in Nashville that are very valuable to the city. And so the mayor and the city council approved $20 million to build what you and I would call a headquarters. The police headquarters is being built as we speak on Murfreesboro Road. So our headquarters is going to go over on South 5th Street, which historically had been the old workhouse. And that's, so the money's funded. We're meeting with the design folks right now, have been, and I hope in the next month or so, that award of a contractor and an architect to come in and finalize that will be on the streets. Probably 90 days or so. Hopefully that person's on board, and we're building and tearing down the old workhouse and building a nice, headquarters for administrative functions. Then that would free us up from the land right across the street. The jail's gone, but we still live there. There's 500 inmates and my operation. So all the inmates would go to the new building upon completion. And then we being the administrative side, and our training and warrants division and others would be going to this headquarters.
And what's going to happen to where you are now?
And I don't have any control of this, but it's a very valuable piece of property. It's a very it sits right on a riverbank, and it's on 2nd Avenue. I've told people I can see home plate from my office, basically, of the baseball park. So you can do something really nice, whatever the city decides to do. We need to get out of that property, and so I think about the same time frame as the jail. It won't take as long to build the headquarters. It's really administrative. So I think they'll finish about the same time. Hopefully the summer of 19. The jail would be finalized. Inmates are moved back. Our headquarters be finalized. We'd all move over to South 5th Street. That property's freed up.
For whatever they choose to do with it. As far as you can tell, we're on budget.
I wouldn't say yes to that, and the reason is the budget to build downtown. And again, there's a lot of changes that have occurred. I'm sure you guys reported on it. There was some issue between the sheriff's office and the mayor's office about who should be leading the project. The mayor's office has led that. I'd let them answer all the questions about the budget. It was never the right thing in my mind to build it downtown. It was going to cost you more money, and so when they started doing that and made some other changes themselves, it cost and it changed the overall cost of the project. But I think it's going to be very, very good for the city in the sense of a good building and a good situation. It's not in the exact place you should have built it, that's way past the argument. It's under construction, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good functioning building, and the sheriff's office deserves to have a home long term. We built a new fire headquarters and police headquarters, and I think there's a new ECC. There's going to be a new juvenile court center. The sheriff's office is the one building. I've been here 30 years. It's really never had that done for it. I don't mean the jail, but we have 1,000 employees, and a lot of folks come and go from that operation, and they deserve their own home, and this will give us that. We've been occupying the old H.G. Hill warehouse building for as long as I've been here, 30 years, and so this will be nice. It's the right thing to do, and hopefully when it's all said and done, the operation can then function in state-of-the-art facilities.
Good. I look forward to it. It's going to be nice to have it all back down here again when it comes. All right, listen, let's take a break on that note. When we come back, phone calls coming in. Ann, Joe, Brian, and others, stay there. The line's open, 737-7587. We're live. We're back. It's Morning Line. Davidson County Sheriff Daron Hall here to take your calls and continue talking about things happening at the jail and here in this great city right after this. Stay with us.